People call me every single day looking to move to Raleigh, North Carolina, and the first question is always the same. Where should I live? And the answer is it depends. Every suburb is a little bit different. So rather than giving you a generic top 10 list, I'm actually going to be ranking every single Raleigh suburb all the way from C tier up to S tier, so that by the end of this video, you know exactly where to move. And make sure you watch until the very end, where I'm going to reveal my number one pick, the suburb that I would choose if I were moving to Raleigh. All right, let's kick off the video with the C tier. Now this is going to be the lowest rated suburbs on today's list, and not because any of them are bad, but just because they get way less relocation demand, they have longer commute times, and they have slower growth. And if you're just chasing the lowest price possible and the most amount of space for your budget, this is actually where I'm going to recommend that you start. First on this list is going to be Zebulon, North Carolina. This is the outermost east suburb of Raleigh. It's about a 30-minute commute into downtown, and it's up to an hour to the airport and over to Research Triangle Park, where a lot of our high-paying jobs are. So for obvious reasons, Zebulon often gets overlooked for those commute times. Now, one reason that people love Zebulon is because of the abundance of new construction. So here you can find a new construction house starting at $300,000. You could find a resale house starting in the upper 100 to lower 200 range. And these aren't your cookie cutter homes, right? They're homes with spacious lots. They're customizable homes with 3 or 4 car garages, or they're small ranches, but they have 8 acres. So there's a lot of variety for the budget out in Zebulon. And if you like the idea of a quiet rural setting and only 11,000 people living in your city, and you're okay with kind of that commute into Raleigh for more of the action, then this is going to be the right spot for you. Moving closer to Raleigh, we have Wendell, North Carolina, and this one definitely gets a lot more attention than its neighbor. In Wendell, the median home price shoots up to $365,000, and you can still find new construction at around $400,000 and up. Now you can find a resale home in the $300,000 range, no problem. Now what we have seen with Wendell is an increase in relocation demand, even from people just relocating from one part of the triangle to Wendell, and so prices are definitely starting to shoot up. Now there's a lot of land left to build on, but the new construction prices have increased as well. While downtown Wendell is cute and quaint, doesn't have a lot going on, but it has some nice local shops and whatnot, you're gonna find that Wendell Falls, a master plan development just south of downtown Wendell, is the place to be, and that's really what's putting Wendell on the map right now. Think a large connected community with trails, ponds, great amenities, built-in coffee shops, upscale shopping and dining. It pretty much has it all. And if you live in Wendell, you're only about 20 minutes to downtown Raleigh and under that 45-minute commute time into RTP, which for some people is worth the sacrifice. Moving along, we have Garner, North Carolina. Now Garner is one of the top commuter suburbs because it is directly south of downtown Raleigh, meaning you can get into the heart of Raleigh in about 10-15 minutes, which is not bad at all. It's still about 30 minutes or so to the Research Triangle Park and up to the airport, which is very doable for most people. Now Garner is a large suburb, and it's a very old suburb. There's about 41,000 people there, and there's a lot of affordable housing there. You'll find the median home price here to be right around $415,000. You'll find new construction starting in the 4s and 5s, and you'll find resale homes starting in the upper 2s and low 3s. Near downtown Garner, you're gonna find a lot of ranches and older style houses, many of which are affordable, but they're gonna need fixing up. On the east and south side of Garner, you'll find more of your new construction. There's always new communities popping up. And you'll also find the White Oak Crossing Center. This is probably the nicest, largest, newest shopping development in Garner. It has, your Cabela's, your Targets, your Marshalls, your Starbucks, your Chipotle, your Panera Bread. Everything that you're wanting in your day-to-day is right there. And then of course, it's a hop and a skip to get into Raleigh and all the amenities that downtown offers. The only reason Garner didn't make it higher on the list is it's just a little too slow moving in terms of population growth, development growth, and overall price appreciation of homes. But if you're a family on a budget or a working professional, Garner might be a great place for you to look. Last in C tier is going to be Fuquay-Varina, and if you're just pronouncing it for the first time, you might have got it wrong. We've all been there. Now, Fuquay and Varina used to be two separate cities. Now they've combined, and there's over 41,000 people who call it home. It's actually quite a large suburb, and what makes it special is it's the first suburb in the video on the west side of the triangle. So you are a straight shot north up to Research Triangle Park and the airport. You're also a hop and a skip from Cary, Apex, Morrisville, some of the more desirable suburbs that we're going to be talking about later in the video. Here, the median home price is the highest we've seen so far at $520,000, but you're getting so much house for the money. So large lots, lots of amenities, great new master plan communities with pickleball courts and pools and access to lakes and trails. Fuquay-Varina does a great job at catering to families who just want a lot of space for the money, and you're still in Wake County schools despite looking like you're really far out on the map. Fuquay-Varina has a decently built up downtown, a lot better than Wendell and some of the other suburbs that we've talked about on today's video, and it has a lot of growth coming its way as we've seen price increases closer to Raleigh. And I have a sinking suspicion that Fuquay-Varina is gonna find itself higher up on my list when we make this video again 5 years from now. Hey, real quick, if you're new, my name is Benjamin Carver. My goal is to help you make a smooth relocation to Raleigh, North Carolina, and help you find the right place to call home. So if you're looking at moving to the area, you want help finding the perfect house, then make sure you call or text the number at the bottom of the screen, scan the QR code, or click the free consultation link in the description, set up a time to chat with our team. I can't wait to meet you. Okay, now we are in B tier. This is a super interesting list because now we're getting a strong mix of affordability, reasonable commute times, and overall desirability. These suburbs are growing super fast without jumping into premium pricing and getting way too competitive like we're going to see later in the video. First, we have Knightdale, North Carolina. It is the first suburb to the east of Raleigh, North Carolina. It is another great commuter suburb. A lot of young professionals moving into Knightdale. And similar to Garner, it's going to have a mix of older homes that have been renovated or need renovation, but it's also going to have a lot of new construction. Now, I ranked it higher in the list, and I will tell you why. Knightdale Station, for example, has a massive park surrounded by a bunch of new construction, lots of recreational activities, great food, great shopping. It's right off of the downtown strip that goes through Knightdale, which has its own plethora of restaurants and shops. There's so much to do in Knightdale, and for now, it's still very reasonably priced. The median home price hovers around $450,000. We see new construction starting in the 400s to 500s, and you can still find a resale home in the 300s and above. And because of its proximity, it's still only a 15-20 minute drive into downtown and about 30 minutes or so over to the airport and all the jobs. Also in B tier, we have Clayton, North Carolina. This is the farthest southeast suburb here to the triangle. It's about 30 minutes from Raleigh and about an hour from the airport and RTP. So this suburb is gonna cater most to your retirees, but also those who are hybrid and remote. This may be young professionals, it may be families who want a lot of space, because there's a lot of land in Clayton. If you look on the map, there's really not a lot going on between Raleigh and Clayton, despite that being about a 30-minute drive. Now, when you're in Clayton, it's like a city of its own. There's a lot to do, especially on the east side of Clayton with Flowers Plantation. We recently did a video where we toured in depth this master plan community with all its amazing amenities, built-in hospital system, great schools. We covered all of that. Make sure you watch that at the end of this video. But many people are moving to Clayton because of its affordability, mixed with plenty of things to do, and its overall tight-knittedness. And here, the median home price is only $317,000. Near downtown Clayton, which is a little bit more quaint and historic, not as many things to do, but you can find historic and resale homes in the 200s range. Now, if you're in Flowers looking at new construction, you can still find something in the 3s and 4s. If you're okay with that drive and you like the idea of living within a bubble, a very nice bubble at that, then Clayton might be an excellent fit. Okay, last on the list is going to be Youngsville, North Carolina. This one's very similar to Zebulon, but for many reasons, I ranked it higher. Now, on the map, it is going to be north of Wake Forest, about 30 minutes northeast of downtown Raleigh. It's about 45 minutes in total to get over to Research Triangle and over to the airport, so you're definitely not close on this one. Similar to Clayton, if you live in Youngsville, you are probably a remote worker, you work in the area, you're retired. One of those three options. And in similar light, if you live in Youngsville, it's probably because you got a lot of house and a lot of land for not a lot of money. Here, the median home price is $379. You can find new construction starting in the threes, and you can find resale starting in the 200s. So very affordable in Youngsville, and lots of builders are developing in Youngsville right now. Massive houses that could fit a large family, comes with an acre lot, and again, it's way cheaper than you could possibly find in Raleigh. Now, within Youngsville, there's not a ton of things to do, but you're only about 10-15 minutes from the heart of downtown Wake Forest, and Wake Forest has so much things to do. We'll be talking about that later in the video. But the reason I ranked Youngsville where it is because I believe it's primed for exponential growth, and I'm already seeing a massive interest in people choosing Youngsville over places like Zebulon, for example. All right, we can take a little breather here. We have made it to the A-tier list. By the way, if you're finding value, make sure you click the like button. It does help out the channel, lets us know we're doing a good job. Now, in A-tier list, this is where we start to see a little bit premium pricing. We're seeing super high demand for housing, but it is not gonna be the top most competitive parts of our market. We're saving that for our S tier. These suburbs are, in my opinion, the best balance that money can buy of schools with affordability, with some new construction, and commute times. So this is just improving on what we saw from the B tier list while going up a little bit in price point. And what you won't see on this list is anything super rural. So no more Youngsville, no more Fuquay-Varina. These are going to be established suburban suburbs that are gonna definitely cater towards family types and those who are wanting to be more connected with the city. First, we have Holly Springs. This is the second suburb we've seen on the west side of the triangle, just south of Cary Apex, where the median home price is $580,000. But you can still find a detached home here for around $400,000 and up, and new construction starting in the 500s and 600s. Here in Holly Springs, we see a fair amount of new construction. There is a lot of land left to be built on here in Holly Springs, and that's part of the reason why it's becoming increasingly more popular as places like Cary and Apex are starting to get filled out, running out of land. Here in Holly Springs, there's a lot of development that has already happened. There's a lot of attention from investors happening. What you get in Holly Springs is the feel of a polished suburb. Everything's kind of connected. This is the kind of place you would actually know your neighbors, and you would meet each other up at the park, and you would see each other when you're out in the giant shopping development at the heart of Holly Springs. And over the next 5-10 years, I'm expecting a lot of growth from Holly Springs, especially as we see a lot of those working in Research Triangle Park who are hybrid, or hey, they go into the office every day. They're willing to make that 30-minute commute from Holly Springs. We also have Wake Forest, North Carolina. This is the first suburb northeast of Raleigh. It's a quick shot onto 540 to get into Research Triangle Park, meaning you could have a commute of about 20 to 30 minutes. You can also get into downtown Raleigh very conveniently in about 20 to 30 minutes as well, making it a reasonable commuter suburb for those wanting to push the budget a little bit more. The median home price in Wake Forest is going to be right at $500,000, and we're seeing a massive amount of new construction being built here in the 400s and up. Detached homes run from the high 200s, with most of them falling in the 3s and 4s. Wake Forest is one of our largest suburbs here in the Triangle in terms of population and overall size, and there is still room left for builders to build, and they're continuing to buy up farms and large properties and develop them as much as possible, and they just can't seem to build enough for the amount of relocation demand coming into Wake Forest. Something notable about Wake Forest is its proximity to Falls Lake. To the west, you have access to one of the largest natural lakes here in the Triangle, meaning you have the great outdoors right at your feet. And there's a reason they call it Wake Forest. It's very green here, and recreation is everywhere. Parks, trails, greenways, the lake, you name it. You will find a large mix of neighborhoods in Wake Forest that have great amenities, they're super connected, tight-knit, and people love the schools here being in Wake County. Wake Forest has done a great job of preserving its historic charm, which is something that locals also love. And finally, on B tier, we have Roseville, North Carolina. And this was recently ranked the top emerging small suburb of North Carolina for 2024, and here's why. Roseville really feels like an extension of Wake Forest, and all the new construction attention that Wake Forest is getting has bled into Roseville, where a lot of the communities, they're actually split between Wake Forest and Roseville, and a lot of the schools are shared between the two. The secret here is you can get a little bit better price in Roseville right now, and get a little bit larger house, larger lot, for the same amount of money, still have the same schools, still be very close to all the shopping and dining, and it's not any further on the map from downtown Raleigh and the jobs. Actual downtown Roseville currently leaves a lot to be desired. It does have a cute park, there are some nice shops and whatnot going on there, but it's like taking a step back in time. It's the proximity to everything else and knowing that it's getting a lot of attention, the development of shopping centers and everything else that you'd expect from Wake Forest, it is coming soon. So especially if you are a growing family and you just need a lot of space for the money, you're gonna find that Roseville is a very attractive option right now. And that brings us to the S tier. This is the top bracket of suburbs, the highest ranked in the Triangle, and for good reason. These are the places to live in and around Raleigh that just absolutely dominate the calls that we get every day. They are the most convenient, the most desirable, the most luxurious, and the most competitive markets here in the Triangle. First, we have Mooresville, North Carolina. This is actually a very, very small suburb, kind of tucked in between Durham and Cary on the map, but it's one of the closest places you can get to both the Research Triangle Park for your jobs and to the airport, making it probably the most convenient suburb that we have on today's list. Here, the median home price is $520,000. You can find some new construction starting in the $600,000 range and resale options starting in the 500s. There's about 33,000 people packed into this suburb, and you will find that Mooresville has high density. They are mainly building a lot of condos and townhomes at this point, especially targeting those working professionals who just want that zero commute time. You'll also find that Mooresville is highly diverse. We are pretty diverse here in the Triangle. Mooresville is kind of the melting pot, the central point of the Triangle, where people from all walks of life fly into the area, find a place to live and work out of. That's gonna be Mooresville. If you happen to work in IT or tech or any of those sectors that are very popular here in the Triangle, then Mooresville is probably the top place that I'd recommend you look. But this wouldn't be S tier if I didn't also mention Cary, North Carolina, and this is arguably the #1 relocation suburb here in the Triangle, period. If I get a phone call, the highest chance is that it is for Cary. Cary is a very desirable part of our market. It's where some of the most competitive public and private schools are, and that is reflected in its median home price of $670,000. Detached homes start in the 400s, with most being in the 5s and 6s, and there really isn't much new construction at all. Just a little bit here and there for townhomes. If you find a detached new home, it's probably in the $700,000, $800,000, $900,000 plus range at this point. Why? Because there's just not a lot of land left. Cary is very suburban to the point where it's almost a little bit urban, and people will describe Cary as being its own city in and of itself, even though it's only 10 minutes just west of Raleigh, and it's another 10 minutes up to the airport and RTP. What people say about Cary is that it's just nice. Everywhere you go, there's great shops and parks and restaurants and everything that you could need in your day-to-day. They also say it's tight-knit, where if you live in a Cary neighborhood, you're going to have great amenities, you're going to be able to walk around with your dog and talk with your neighbors and make friends, and everything just feels connected. And Cary, North Carolina is repeatedly put on top lists by magazines and other websites, ranking it as the safest in North Carolina, the most desirable in North Carolina, the best for families in North Carolina, the lists go on. And it's also very large. There's 185,000 people who live in Cary, making it the largest Raleigh suburb in today's video. And it's gonna cater to all walks of life, from families to working professionals, you name it. There's probably a place for you in Cary. If you're okay with Cary prices and you're okay with a little bit of competition when looking for a home, Cary is definitely going to check the most amount of your boxes. That is, unless you really want a lot of land. Apex, North Carolina is another S-tier suburb that's made its way on today's list. The average price point here is going to be $615,000. You can find a new construction home here in Apex for around $600,000 and up, and resale starting in the 400s. Now, people love Apex, and there is a huge argument for Apex becoming the next Cary, so to speak. That's because Cary ran out of room, there's no more new construction, prices got really steep, and so a lot of people went just a little bit further south, a little further from the city, further from the jobs, into Apex, and they started building a ton, new developments, building a giant Costco, lots of houses, and it really did become a huge destination for the same working professionals and families who were going to live in Cary. So your money goes a lot further in Apex, even though the price point isn't that far off from what it is in Cary. Your commute out of Apex is still 20 minutes or less. You do have to deal with a little bit of traffic as we see more and more people moving into the area, but it's still a very convenient suburb, and it's definitely copying the style of Cary in that it's very structured, everything's connected, it feels polished, and there are very few parts of Apex that are super rural at this point. They do exist, and if you want land in Apex, it can be done for a price. They call Apex the peak of good living, and I can't say that I would argue against that. And for most people who love the idea of Cary but need just a little bit more, need to check a little more boxes, then you're going to love Apex. All right, I promised you at the beginning of the video I would give you my #1 personal pick. If I was starting over, moving to Raleigh, where would I go? And that would be Wake Forest, North Carolina. And I know you probably expected it to be something from the S-tier list, but frankly, I have good reasons for choosing Wake Forest. It checks almost all the boxes that you will find with Cary, Apex, and Morrisville, and it doesn't come with that S-tier price tag. You have access to still great schools, you have quick commutes, you have Falls Lake and a bunch of recreation, brand new shopping developments, great amenities in brand new neighborhoods, all at your feet for a better price. Now that's my opinion, yours may be different, and the point of this video is to help you figure out which one is the right fit for you. If you want help making a smooth move to the area and finding the right place to call home, then call or text the number at the bottom of the screen, scan the QR code, or click the link in the description to set up a time to chat with my team. And in the meantime, if you want to keep learning more about living in Raleigh, then make sure you watch one of these videos next. I'm Benjamin, and I'll see you there.